Welcome to this channel and welcome to part 3 of this video series on beds and showing appreciation and gratitude and practicing love in the space of beds for the bed themselves or for the beds themselves, as well as yourself and anybody else that might be within your surrounding or who you might be connecting with during your time in bed. I just turned that around and I realized we are running out of time, but I'm drawn to this the Wild Unknown Tarot deck today for the third part of this video series. Now, in part 1 we already opened up a few oracle messages just because I was drawn to do that for the universal laws aspect of this video series about beds. And so if you haven't watched part 1 for some universal laws and some messages from the oracle cards, I suggest you click on part 1 and watch that. Now I'm going to draw this beautiful deck of mine and we're just going to see if any other messages through from the spirit world, our beautiful angels and archangels, ancestors, just if you've got anything to say on the subject of beds. And the first one that has come through is the beautiful Major Arcana. It's the number 11, or in some tarot decks it's number 8. This one is 11, which is the card of strength. The most immediate thing popped through is actually we're currently in the Leo season, so we're in the month of August. A lion is obviously the symbol of that. Now, I don't know why that popped through, but that popped through. Now we've got an infinity symbol on the lion's forehead. An infinity symbol is gorgeous in my opinion because it just showed you how we are infinite beings. We are not, if you follow this channel, you know I'm a big believer that we're all energy. Everything's created from energy, including ourselves, and energy can't be created or destroyed, so it makes sense that we've always existed, or which will, and that's the infinity circle. So in relation to this particular topic, you know, whilst being in bed, perhaps it's actually a glimpse into the fact that we are forever eternal, right? Because when you're in a state of sleep, which for some it takes like literally, you spend a third of your life literally sleeping. If you think 6 to 8 hours a night of sleep, that's a third of a day. That means a third of your life we're actually asleep. While the physical body and the mental body is resting. Of course, there's bodies, this technology that we are in, the spirits that we are in, the body is resting, but we are traveling in our sleep. We are going into our spirit world. We go back home to the source. We go visit our loved ones, both alive and not alive. We can connect with any kind of guardian angels, archangels, or any other beings that you believe in, ascended masters. And I truly believe that our dreams, the dreams that you get at night, are actually a representation of that world. And it's I think it's inherently within our design, and there's a purpose behind our night dreams, and that design is to remind you of the fact that you are this internal being, that you're never disconnected. You're actually always connected, and you're always present. You're always existing, and there are other dimensions of the realms apart from, you know, this particular planet Earth lifetime that we are all experiencing at this point in time. And so that's what's popping through from the beautiful Leo. Strength. So the card of strength. I mean, beds are strong too. Beds are stronger than us if they can hold our weight, right? Or the weight of all of our loved ones and family members and everybody else is on the bed. Strength. And of course, I mean, there's a beautiful sunshine just above the lion's head. So, and just, you know, beautiful mornings. That's always a beautiful thing. When you wake up and you just stretch your legs, you have sunshine peeping through the window, illuminating your room. It's just a glorious morning. You know, it's been a good night's sleep when you're rested well, and there's birds chirping outside and sun peeping through, right? And I mean, funny enough, there's the sun on this awakening card as well. I don't know if you can see that, but just over here, there's a person and he's got a sunbeam below him. inside him, sorry. Alright, let's see if there's anything else that pops through. Just gonna connect with the spirits and angels. Take a deep breath. Just on the subject of beds. Do you have any messages about how one can practice love when in bed? Ooh. Let's have a look. We've got the Sign of Wands, and we've got a funky little snake that comes through up the wand, and it's equivalent to like a Page of Wands or the Knight of Wands in the tarot deck, one of those. I think it's more the Knight of Wands. And we've got the message that's coming through actually. It's about what wands represent. And in particular this illuminating, glowing ball above the snake's head is reminding me of creativity and passion and inspiration. Is that, yeah, there is a moment in time when we're falling asleep or just when we're waking up. There's certain moments in our that occur where we're in a slightly different state, we're in an altered state of consciousness. And during that time we can actually get some really awesome creativity and inspiration happening. You might be drawn to something out of the blue. You know, you might have like a solution come through to you to a very difficult or challenging problem. And so what I'm thinking about wands, that passion, that fire, that creativity, it's like a light bulb moment, you know, when you go to-doo, to-doo, and light bulbs just firing off. And yes, those moments can happen literally when you're in bed, because as you fall asleep or when you wake up. Okay, might grab another card. Oh, that one came through fast. Interesting. The Devil. So we've got the Devil, which has a goat, and the goat, that's usually a sign of Capricorn, I believe, in terms of the star sign. So the Devil is the number 15 in the tarot deck, and we've got a goat here with a sort of like a star symbol, the devil symbol on his head, and there's fire. There's like literally fire coming up in the feet. The goat's inside the feet, but the goat feels calm and cool and collected. And what's coming through is the association of devil with like materialistic things, earthly things, or too much of something, attachment, or like an addiction to something. And maybe be mindful of what attachment or addictions you may have in relation to your behavior with your bed, whether it's just as an example, too much sleep, or whatever it is that you do or love doing in your bed. Are you doing too much of it? Are you spending too much time in bed? Is it watching, you know, if you're watching YouTube videos and it's your thing when you do bed, maybe you're watching too much of that in bed. So that's what's coming through in terms of the Devil card. But it could also signify, you know, materialistic things. So have you, you know, do you have like this grand bed that's just grandiose and it's probably not necessary for the actual purpose of sleeping and resting? But even if you do, how much appreciation or soulful appreciation have you shown it? And that's the message I'm receiving, because this card was just above this devil. So it's like, even if you are fortunate enough to have such a grandiose bed in your life, how much heartfelt gratitude have you given it, or have shown to the universe for being able to be in such a bed in your life? That's an interesting thing to think about. And ultimately, on the bottom of deck, we've got the Justice card, which is number 8. And it's got a black and a white cat. There's a sword in between them, and both of the cats have their tails around the planet Earth, which is all about for me. Excuse me. The day and night, and the fact that obviously we can be spending time in bed during the day or during the night, and some of us, excuse me, some of us may be working at night, and so your sleep or your rest, your time in bed is actually during the day because of that. And so there's this, the justice, don't forget about the balance in your life, right? You still need the rest, you need the sleep, whether it's during the day or night. Don't forget there has to be this rest that you ought to give to your physical body, which is our technology. It's like this machine that we have to take care of and maintain to make sure that it's functioning as well as it should be. Now the other thing, I'm just sort of stepping back, and yes, there is, when I actually look at the colors, there's very much white and black thing happening here, which is the reinforcement of the day and night point, that you could be spending time in bed whenever, quite frankly. But the other common feature is the animals, right? The amount of animals, and then the Justice card here, we've got the cats, which is a more likely representation of what you might find in your bed if you have pets as cats, rather than the goat, the snake, or the lion. But you might have other pets, right? Parrots, you might have dogs, you might have rabbits, other smaller fur animals. But hey, some of you have snakes or goats or lions in your beds. I want to see photos of that, okay? Just please comment down below with photos if you do have those amazing animals in your bed with you. Especially the lion. Good luck if that's you, sleeping in bed with a lion. But stepping just a little bit, zooming out, we've got Major Arcana. Out of the 4 cards here, right, it's 3 on the table and 1 is at the bottom. We've got 3 Major Arcanas. Major Arcanas means something is significant, something is of importance, of grandness, right? And I suspect that this is just a random but yet important message about how, at the beginning in part 1, I said my recent videos have been quite deep, and so I wanted to do something that's a little bit more lighthearted, and I was kind of drawn to talk about on this channel about bedrooms, and then it kind of zoomed in more, and I'm like, no, it's all about the beds. But I actually think what this message is trying to say with the Major Arcana, it's like, do not underestimate anything particular in your life, right? That something, a topic such as a bed, can actually be a very, very important subject. And yes, I'm once again seeing the image of a rainbow coming through behind the camera somewhere, which I think is what I've kind of hit the heart of the matter with this interpretation. The fact that I started talking about a bed, right, has given us insight and inspiration to talk about how we can practice love, including, for instance, showing soulful appreciation for the fact that we've even got a bed in our life. And for something that we spend like a third of our life, excuse my dishwasher, something that we spend a third of our life in, that should never be taken for granted, right? We spend a third of our life sleeping or resting, and that mostly will happen in bed. So don't underestimate the importance of objects such as a bed in your life. And I think that's a very strong message there, based on the Major Arcana that have come through here. And some of the messages that we've read about, your awakening, spiritual awakening, the interplay of dreams and insight and symbolism, and how during the different stages of your sleep, be that waking up or at night, you might be getting that creativity and inspiration sent your way from the spirit world, from the universe, from your ascended masters, whoever you believe in, from your ancestors, yeah. So yeah, actually looking at this a little bit from a different angle just shows you how important the message is, even though the topic may have felt to me anyway, quite light-hearted right from the beginning. With this justice card as well, and there's a bit of an actual rainbow in the actual card. That's why I'm drawn to it. And behind it is actually another. Oh, look at the synchronicity. Behind it, literally behind the justice card, we had the temperance, which is once again another major arcana. And it's got a bird in it, the one that brings the babies. I forgot what it is. I just literally escaped my mind. I had it on the tip of my tongue and then escaped it. You know, the bird that supposedly brings the babies to. Maybe that's why I forgot about it, because it's all about, you know, bringing babies, and in order for this bird to bring the baby, someone's got to make the baby, you know, something that you can do in bed. Just a confirmation there if you needed to hear that. So, and funny enough, so as I mentioned, this is number card 14, temperance, and once again we've got another confirmation of an animal kingdom, you know, animal literally coming through, another major arcana, which gets to that point of how important the subject actually is. Now this bird, it's actually got, it's giving me like phoenix vibes for a moment, just because of what it's doing. Now it's got fire coming through, and it's sort of either crying or sweating. So there's this interplay between water, which is emotions, and fire, which is your passion and creativity. And having temperance, meaning, you know, having a balance of both, or dabbling your feet in the water, or dabbling a little bit and observing the fire just for a moment. So a bit of this and that. But also patience, you know, having the patience and just taking a step back, observing how things unfold, and thinking about a variety of options, weighing things up. And of all those things I've just mentioned can practically be kind of done in bed. You know, don't mean light a fire. I mean more delving into the passion, the creativity, the inspiration, thinking about something that might be motivating you, or something that you're burning with desire. Maybe burning with desire for something, you know, a certain project, a passion project. Now, what else? Anything else that I need to see based on these cards? Oh, the world. So the world gives me the kind of picture of everybody, you know, that because everybody has to, every single individual needs to rest and sleep. That means that ultimately this subject matter, and maybe the importance of it, is the fact that everyone ought to rest or sleep, or, you know, put their head on the pillow to rest or sleep, to ideally have a bed that they can sleep on, because it literally impacts everybody. So maybe that's the whole point. Something that I thought was going to be a light-hearted video series ended up to be quite actually deep in the end after all. And I was genuinely inspired to do the subject matter by spirit, and I changed things slightly, you know, in terms of how I do my videos. With part 1, I actually was drawn to the oracle cards for the universal laws aspect, and we've got a lot more cards here coming through at the end of part 3. And so I genuinely believe, going through the journey, and you have sort of come here with me right up until this point, and I thank you for actually going with me on this journey through up until this point, to watch this video series right till the end, to actually show some appreciation for your bed, what you do in bed. Be mindful, you know, be mindful of what you do in bed. Have a think about how you practice love, you know, what you think when you're in bed, what you say when you're in bed, what you do when you're in bed. And hopefully this video series has inspired you to actually, yeah, be more aware, or be mindful of those things. yeah, and I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Nothing else I think that I need to say at this point in time, and so I will definitely wrap up part 3 then of this video series. As always, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to this channel, comment down below with images of the bed or emojis of the bed, any other comments as to how you practice love or towards your bed or in bed, whatever it is that you might be willing to share what you do in bed, what you love doing in bed, any kind of activities or hobbies or interests, or anything else that may have resonated with you. If you recall, I did make a commitment to donate 22% of my income as the Loving Soul, aka Victoria, to charities and noble causes. And hey, the more you watch this kind of content, the more we will together multiply the love. And I might even be, depending on how things go, willing to do some research into people out there who don't have beds. And if there are any charities, I haven't done this before, but I am willing to do that research and figure out if there's if there's assistance to people, people who are homeless, as an example, who might be given a bed to sleep on. Something else comes to mind actually, and there is in my town a certain charity or a group that effectively welcomes homeless people, for a night somewhere they can sleep. They have to register, but they have to go to a particular location. So there is one that I can think of actually right from the bat, and I wonder if there are more out there. And look, you might be inspired to actually thinking about doing love, right? You might be inspired to research in your local community. Is there any organization or charity that actually takes care of homeless people or people who have found themselves in troublesome situations and financial hardship or a challenging situation? A natural disaster may have occurred, wiping out somebody's home. Floods, an example, tsunamis happen. Other weather, climate change related phenomena may have occurred. Some people may have lost their bed. And so maybe you might be inspired to actually do a bit of digging and research in your community. If you can volunteer your time, or you're thinking of actually getting rid of your bed or something in relation to your bed, you might be able to actually donate towards that charity, towards that community, to make sure that somebody else, some other individual, can be blessed with whatever it is that you've got that you no longer need, but that other person might need it, given the circumstances they find themselves in. So that was it. That was definitely the last message. Now, on that note, thank you so much for watching till this point. I truly hope you have a lovely day. All the very best. Enjoy your morning or have a good night, depending on what time of the day you're watching this. Don't forget about the night rituals I mentioned and anything else that may have resonated with you. Think about it. Hopefully inspired to practice more love given this video series. Have a lovely day. I'll see you in my next videos. Bye.